Thank you for joining us today for our weekly mayoral news conference. We are obviously in a different locale. I'll let the mayor speak to that. We have a few things to touch on, and then we'll open it up for a few questions.
All right. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us, as Melissa stated, for our weekly press briefing. As she stated, the location is different, so I'd like to take a moment and welcome everyone to the Ice House. This is a local facility here in the city of Jackson, and part of our mission each year with the state of the city is to highlight local venues. Mr. Stephen James, who is the owner of this establishment, has partnered with the city on numerous events to include the Sneaker Ball, Party with a Purpose, and many of our fireworks displays. I'd like to take this opportunity not only to thank him for opening up this venue for the state of the city, but for being a consistent partner to the city of Jackson. I'd like to step aside so he can talk a little bit about his venue and other projects that he's working on.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. How's everybody doing today? All right, so welcome to RSVP Ice House. We are downtown Jackson, right around the corner from the convention center. We're a full-service venue. We specialize in weddings. We do corporate events, birthdays, any type of special event that you can plan here in the city of Jackson. We're here to service your needs. Happy to be here in the city of Jackson, born and raised right here. So when I had the opportunity to purchase the venue, I wanted to invest back in the city. And hey, I appreciate the mayor. I tell him all the time, keep your head up. He's doing some amazing things. And hey, we're here to service all the needs of the citizens of Jackson. We're right around the corner from the convention center. Full service, we can hold up to 500 people. If you have an event you want to do here, contact us, and we want to make your event special. Mr. Mayor?
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
All right. We wish Mr. James and RSVP Ice House continued success. He's certainly an individual who puts his money where his mouth is, not only for investment with the city, but like we said, parties with a purpose. It is often going to many philanthropic pursuits that benefit the community. I know that he is a friend of the wearing pink in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and a number of other things. So I'm grateful for his work and his investment. On that same note, as we're talking about the state of the city, we want to take a little more time out to make a plea for local businesses, restaurants who are looking to have their business highlighted during the State of the City address. There is space within this facility for vendors to come to put on showcase what they offer as a business, so that in hopes that residents in Jackson become more familiar, more acclimated with your business. And so if you are interested in having a display during the State of the City address, then please email media@jacksonms.gov. Once again, that is media@jacksonms.gov. Switching the page some, last week we were delighted to bring to resolution the strike that took place between the JTRAN Bus Drivers Union with MV, who is the third-party management group. Both parties stood before you and shared that they were both happy to be moving forward and happy to restore service. As a part of our effort to move forward with progress and with a good spirit moving forward, the City of Jackson has decided to offer riders of JTRAN free rides for now until the end of the month. So we're offering to our ridership free rides on JTRAN. So those people who may look to save a little gas, for those that often ride or those who may not have experienced our public transit system, this is an opportunity for you to take advantage of that and learn how you may be able to have a more energy efficient or the ability to save money in terms of your cost each month by taking advantage of JTRAN. And so we invite you to do that. The next thing we have is National Night Out. Again, National Night Out will be October 1st, and we're looking forward to visiting our local neighborhoods and fellowshipping within the communities. We will, as our tradition has been, we will be riding to several locations across the city. We always try to get to as many locations as we can, but if you've experienced National Night Out, you know that we have joining us not only members of our administration, but members of various sectors of public safety that are present. And so after we, have opportunity to fellowship with community, it takes a lot to not only recognize and speak to people, but it takes a lot to get back into the cars and travel to your next location. And so that often creates delay and a little interference with our plans of getting to as many locations as we can. But we're certainly going to try and give our best effort towards that. We will, at some point, travel to Veterans Memorial Stadium to join other law enforcement agencies that will be hosting their own National Night Out there. But we will be doing both our tradition and joining those other agencies. There have been a few questions. I believe that our agenda for tomorrow's council meeting references it. But there have been a few questions about the MLK Bridge, the Martin Luther King Bridge that is out right next to Cornerstone Baptist Church. The first question people had was about the dirt that was piled up there. That was done intentionally to stop individuals from trying to pass on the bridge that is unsafe at this period of time. We did an RFP in order to have someone pursue the construction on that bridge. Unfortunately, there were no takers or no submissions to that RFP. It is our understanding that there is a high voltage power line which is interfering with the construction, and many of those construction firms were fearful about interfering with that high voltage line, and that is why they did not submit. And so we are going back to the drawing board with our engineers in order to look at an alternative solution to how we repair that bridge that does not leave those construction companies or the construction company who ultimately receives the bid vulnerable to either harm to someone on their construction crew or damaging infrastructure that they don't want to be responsible for. So that is the delay, and we are recognizing what has been shared about their concerns, and so we will amend to make certain that we incorporate a path forward that makes certain that everyone's safe and that no infrastructure is harmed in the process. But that is pushing forward. Occasionally when we do RFPs, we get feedback of this variety that we find out that there are challenges to the project as it is proposed, and so we therefore have to amend it. So that is what is going on with the Martin Luther King Bridge and the delay on the repairs. Thalia Mara. So I want to make it clear that the chiller was delivered and is being tested today. We will have more updates on Thursday on the city's website regarding the chiller, and we will continue to update the tab so you understand the progress and the status of what is going on with Thalia Mara Hall. I believe it was the last press conference, or maybe the one before, that there was a question raised as to when the last time the Jackson Fire Department last inspected Thalia Mara Hall. And per our research, we found that the last time that it was inspected was in 2022. So a little over a year ago at this point. And so I'd like to ask if the Jackson Fire Department can come forward and share any details with respect to the inspection of Thalia Mara Hall. As they are coming, I want to remind you that we said that as we go through the various points of the state fire inspection, the Jackson Fire Department has availed itself to be present throughout the entire process of many of those repairs. I want to share again that those repairs are delayed by the notice of when it is once again safe to enter Thalia Mara. We don't want our firefighters or anyone who may be doing work in Thalia Mara to be exposed to any potentially hazardous conditions, and so that's when they will be there. Mr. Elliott.
Good afternoon. First of all, I want to speak
Share
on.
who you are.
Good afternoon. Elliot Holmes, Deputy Fire Chief of Jackson Fire Department. First off, I want to share with you that when the inspection was done in 2022, the Jackson Fire Marshal's Office did find one discrepancy, which was the fire extinguishers was not serviced nor tagged. Since then, when we did our inspection, that was corrected. Now, true enough, we haven't been out there since 2022, because at the same time, when it deals with the fire department, we do have a shortfall of inspectors. And we try to get to each building throughout the city in an annual basis, but sometimes that cannot be done. And being that we knew that we was behind with the Thalmar Hall, what we was planning on doing was doing an inspection as soon as they got through with the construction of it and with the mold issue that was being done. So that would have brought us up to par, and we would be able to correct any discrepancies. I would like to also add, being that after we did that inspection back in 2022 and everything was seen to being necessary, we need to understand that a lot of things that was found are things that can happen the day after. For us, when you're talking about a blocked entrance or maybe a malfunction here and there, those things can happen in any building at any time. But at the same time, what we're saying is that we was going to do a next inspection as soon as the building opened back up.
Thank you. I do want to underscore, as Mr. Holmes stated, that the items that was found in the state inspection are items that certainly aren't months in the making of dealing with. And while we take any finding of any fire department, whether it's the state fire inspector or our own, seriously, I do want to, calm any concerns as to an unsafe condition that is hazardous to the public. And once again, our Jackson Fire Department will be present as those repairs are going forward. And I want to remind you that in 2023, there were more than $60,000 of repairs that went into Thalmar Hall that the city was very much engaged in. And so there's always been a presence with respect to Thalmar Hall and the work that continues at Thalmar Hall. And I've used the word continues because, again, it is an older facility that will require ongoing repairs on a consistent basis. I want to remind people of the Ward 2 City Council election. Absentee voting is still underway. You can cast your vote at City Hall in the municipal clerk's office. To accommodate the absentee voting process, the municipal clerk's office will be open from 8 a.m. to noon on Saturday, September 28th. And that's in addition to the regular office hours of the municipal clerk's office. So anyone who may anticipate that they're going to be absent on election day, you can come to the municipal clerk's office and vote absentee or vote early so that your vote is able to be cast and you're not disenfranchised by the fact that you won't be present on the actual election day. Storm watch. I want everyone to stay aware and continue to watch our local networks to ensure that you're getting the updates with respect to a storm that is being tracked in the Caribbean. We are expecting it to move into the Gulf, and most models have it impacting the Gulf sometime by the end of next week. We don't yet know where it will actually meet landfall, but we want to make certain that we are staying prepared. It is always a good practice to have a storm-ready package at your home, to have non-perishable items, to have batteries, to have all of those things that in the event that you lose power, in the event that you suffer some damage, that you're prepared to sustain until those repairs can be made. I'm not saying that it's coming to Jackson, but I am saying that we should prepare as if it is until we know what areas will be impacted. With that, I will take the questions that you have and go from there. All right.
Sorry. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Reference to Ballymore Hall, the city does not handle this situation, let's say soon, I guess that the state fire marshals, they will have to red tag Ballymore. How will you all proceed with getting the HVAC systems carried
Yeah.
out, and then will that delay the process even more? How long?
Well, the reason that we're not concerned, the question was if the city doesn't handle Thalia-Mara's, the minor issues, and I do think it's fair for me to call these minor issues, the minor issues identified by the state fire marshals that it could be red tagged. Well, the fortunate thing is that no one's in Thalia-Mara, right? So it's no danger to anyone, and we will be able to handle these in a timely manner, so I don't think that it's really an issue whatsoever. These minor issues will be addressed. We will have our own fire department there to ensure that the issues that are present and not only a part of what they list, but any issues we may find that may not have been identified by the state fire marshal, we will work to address those issues. And as Mr. Holmes stated, these are issues that could happen at any given period of time, an entryway being blocked. It takes but a moment to make certain that an entryway is not blocked. So these are the examples of things that we're talking about. There was a biohazard, which simply means that there's an area on the balcony that needs to be cleaned up. When I say cleaned up, literally washed, right? So these aren't things that take months. I think that there were some plugs, meaning sockets that weren't covered. We change socket covers at our house on a routine basis. I don't know what the ones at Thalia-Mara look like, so I won't suggest that we can simply go to Home Depot, but I know that it is an extremely lengthy process. So the fact that we're talking about sockets being covered, a biohazard, and an entryway being covered, or entryway no longer being blocked, lets you know the severity of what we're talking about with regards to the state fire marshal's report.
Will you all be in contact with them prior to Wednesday before everything, before they could possibly red tag?
We'll make certain that our fire department is there. If they decide to red tag it, it will be an extra layer of protection for a building that no one's in, right? There's no activity going on in Thalia-Mara Hall because we are doing repairs, right? If we want to waste the tape, come on, bring it. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Mayor, I do have a question. I was looking at the revenues that the city brought in for the surcharge that's on the tickets that are sold at Thalia-Mara, and I know that has not kept up with the amount of money the cities had to pay annually on the bond that took out 10 years ago to retire the debt for the previous repairs on Thalia-Mara. Is it time to rethink? I know you've mentioned before rethinking the rate structure. Is it time to possibly also increase that or to rethink how that's funded?
I will pause before prescribing a solution until we have enough people at the table so that we know the impacts of the decisions that we make. I will say that it is clear that we need more revenue in order to take care of an aging facility. What the equation of that is in terms of how we get there, I'll stop short of going there until I'm able to have a conversation not only with our team internally, but the stakeholders who often rent out Thalia-Mara Hall to know what their thinking is. Am I saying that the decision we make will be, everything that they want? Maybe not. I can't assure that, but we will incorporate their voices in the process. And most solutions or most paths forward usually means a give and take on both sides in terms of where you go. So I do anticipate some type of give and take. We got
Anything else with Hotel O?
Hotel O, I had a conversation in our executive cabinet meeting today. We were anticipating that item being on tomorrow's agenda. We discovered that it's not, and so our city attorney was looking to see why that wasn't on there. But we were looking forward to the council taking a vote for its demolition in tomorrow's council meeting. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I will, if for some reason that we have to introduce it as an emergency item, then I will communicate that to the council president so that we can get that on there. But our city attorney has continued to work on this. I know that it's an issue that both the municipal court judge and the city want to handle. So there's no differing of opinions with regard to this. We're just trying to make certain that the proper steps are taken so that we do this by the book and that we get rid of this blight and this hazard within the community. Yes, sir.
Forgive me for getting late to the meeting. I don't know if, have you mentioned any strategy, or has the city come up with any strategy on how it's going to deal with the Smith Wheels issue? And also another part of that question is, I know Smith Wheels is a big focus of this, but is the state also trying to take back, Boyle Park that's next to it and some of the other city property as well?
I can't share what the state intention is. I shared the questions that I had for you last press conference, and I asked you to ask those who are pursuing this effort, why not work with the city of Jackson? The same way that we see investment in North Mississippi and South Mississippi, why are the residents of Jackson not worthy of that same level of support and cooperation? But in terms of the strategy, I can share with you that we will defend our interests, but getting into the particulars of that, I will decline to do so. All right, thank y'all very much, and I look forward to seeing y'all for the State of the City right here in this beautiful location, October the 10th. I was looking at National Night Out, so I'm glad I didn't say October 1st. That's National Night Out. But look forward to you joining us. And again, any vendors or businesses in the city that want your business to be highlighted, we ask that you reach out at media@jacksonms.gov so that we can highlight you. Thank you.